Richie, how would you rate Paul's working from home skills?
Well, I just wish Zoom was never invented, because we got about 5 invites to Zoom meetings on a daily basis. So it's amazing when somebody's not here. And in fairness, I'm a bit like that sometimes. If I'm not here, you wonder what's going on. And when I first started as a manager, I employed a very knowledgeable, experienced assistant manager, and he used to say to me all the time, "It is not an issue if you're not here. The club will not fall down." But it's very difficult to believe that. It's very difficult to believe that, and he's got ultimate faith in his staff, and he's not that type of guy that tells people what to do. But it can be very difficult when you're sat at home and feel a little bit cut off. So I totally understand it.
I appreciate I'm asking you this during the middle of a season, and this is what your focus is on now. But how would you reflect on the success that you and Paul and Matt and the other coaching staff members have had at this club? You've signed new deals, you're here for the long term now, and you have enjoyed a lot of success since you all took over.
Yeah, I think so. I think Paul's coming up to 4 years, along with Hammy working with him, and I'm a sort of 3.5 years. Obviously, I didn't do the first few months with him. I think we said right from the start that ultimately you get judged about what happens on the pitch. Really, you get judged about winning. That's the most important thing. But I think when people sometimes don't really appreciate is that we said we wanted the football club to be left in a better place, and when we meant that, when we said that, we meant we wanted saleable assets. We wanted people to come to the football club for the right reasons. We wanted people who wanted to improve. We wanted a group of staff who wanted to be here for the right reasons. And we wanted to entice people to come here for the right reasons. So, I think 2 promotions obviously speaks for itself, but I think the way that the football club is viewed now from the outside, in terms of it's a good place for young players to come, improve, learn, and possibly move on. Obviously with the sale of people like Will and Shem, but also the sale of people like of Jerry, who understandably wanted to play more regular football. And I think the fact that we could ask for a transfer fee for a player who wasn't playing for us shows how far we come. The way people view us from the outside. So we'll always get judged on results, but I think ultimately when we leave, the most important thing for all of us, is myself and Hammy have come in from Rotherham, and Paul have been here for like best part of 20 years. Is the football club in a better place when we leave? And I'd like to think it will be.
On the lockdown, strictly in a footballing sense, because obviously there's a lot of people who are going to find this very difficult this month. But in terms of getting your players right, match to match throughout this month, what is that challenge going to be like? Because they are going to be able to go out and train and play, but they're going to be limited in what else they can do. You are going to be limited in what else you can do. You might not be able to get a break from just 24/7 football for the next month.
Yeah, well, the next month and maybe even beyond that. December's a very busy month for us, and then who knows how Christmas is going to look at the moment. We none of us know. That's both from a professional and a personal point of view, in terms of how is football going to look over Christmas? What can people go and do? So, but obviously, even the international break next week, normally we would give the players a few days off and expect them to go and visit family or friends or whatever it is, but that can't be done anymore. And in fairness, the effort they've put in over the last month since the last international break, they deserve a few days off, but they can't, and it will be very difficult for them to go and switch off and like I say, go and obviously they normally would go maybe even get a little bit of sun, but they can't do that either. So, but again, we're well aware that there's a lot of people a lot worse off than us. So we're very fortunate for the time being, but we will try and do, and we'll ensure that we do the right things. We will, and there's a whole list of obviously rules that we have to adhere to, and we do the best that we can to make sure that football's as safe as possible, so that it can continue and hopefully keep people in, but keep people entertained and keep people with a smile on their face.
Yeah, finally on that, I mean, is this a time when we kind of realise how important football is in this country and the role it can play? Because football and supporting your team for the next month and beyond, it really could help people, couldn't it, get through this?
Oh, 100%. And in fairness, we do get carried away with football. Football's our national sport, and it's vital to people. It's on TV constantly. Hundreds of thousands of people every weekend go and watch football matches, and it's a big part in terms of representing your town and putting towns on the map and cities on the map. And it gives people a sense of involvement and pride when their football club's going well, which is going to be important over the next month. But also, I think it was missed so much during the last lockdown, and understandably so, because we had to stop. Things weren't in place for us to continue behind closed doors, so that was understandable. But yeah, I think people need to be able to wake up in the morning with that excitement of like I can watch a football game today. I can, this is the reason I got up this morning. And people's mental well-being is going to be vital over the next month or two. And if we can play a part in that, not just at Rotherham United, but all the way through, the football world and the sporting world, if, hopefully rugby and etc. can continue, then, we just want to do our bit, really, in terms of, this is unprecedented. I know that word used to get used all the times, but it is so difficult for people living by themselves. And I know from my former club, Bury, that when they went under, sometimes that game was the only time that somebody actually went and sat next to somebody else that they didn't see from one week to the next. And you take that away from the local community, and it's so sad, and it's vital. So if you can't go and sit next to that particular person that you want to sit next to every week, then hopefully the next best thing is that you can watch us somehow on TV or on the computer or whatever it is, and we can help try and keep people positive.